Hello everyone, welcome to my next stream. And today I think it will be a shorter stream than the last one. I want to talk about icons and what has changed. So uh, first let's talk about how the .ico files work. And the classic old Windows icons are containers that contain multiple images, and the images can have different sizes and they can have different color depths. It is not really useful these days to have multiple color depths in an .ico file because everyone is running their desktop in true color in 32 bits or even more, so that is not that important, but there are still images in multiple sizes, and these are raster images. For example, right now I am running at 125% the normal scaling, and that means that my icons are my small icons are by default 20 times 20 pixels. For the default setting for desktop computers is 100%, and in that case the images, the small icons are 16 times 16 pixels. And at these sizes it is really important to have the icons optimized. And therefore, maybe let me start the icon editor. And open an icon in that. Let's find a random icon. Where could they be? Maybe here. There will be some icons. For example, this one. So this is an icon file that is actually used inside real world icon editor and real world paint, and it is used here for the shift U image effect. And you can see here that there are 9 or maybe 12 12 images in total. This is a low color depth image that is not used in any situation anymore, but this true color image is used, and this is a 48 times 48 pixels image, and we also have 24 pixel image, 20 pixel image, and 16 pixel image, and each of these is optimized for certain resolution. Right now my application is using this 20 pixel image here in the menu. Where was it? Here. But it is not unusual these days for people to have high resolution monitors displays. The 4K displays have almost 4,000 times 2,000 pixels, and if they are, for example, 30 inches, the diagonal is 30 inches, then the pixel density is pretty high, and these 16 times 16 pixels images will be very small. And I wouldn't be surprised if the default resolution, if you have, for example, a notebook with a small screen but that has 4K resolution, the default scaling would be at 200%, for example. And I don't have 32 times 32 pixels image in this icon, and you would not like how the icon editor or the RWPaint would look on this screen, because I have kept the small icon size at 24 pixels, and if you tried to use RWPaint on a small screen with high resolution and scaling, you will get relatively tiny icons and large texts, and it would not look very good. So therefore I want to switch, not all at once but gradually, to vector icons. And here you can see some of the icons I have already created for the new version. If I open, for example, this one, I have multiple layers in this file, and these represent different icons. For example, this first layer is the icon for automatic zoom, and you can see it here. And this looking glass shape is used here, but I am using a different fill color. It didn't look very good when I used the white fill for this small icon. So I have already redesigned these the most widely used icons, that is for creating new document, opening, saving, undoing, redoing, a clipboard operation, and so on. Also, many of the image filters are also using new icons. So maybe okay, and one more thing, the new version of RWPaint is not anymore capped at the 24 pixels icon size. If you use higher scaling than 150% in Windows, the icons will be larger. The new icons should work fine, but the old one, for example, the icons from here to here, are still using the classic .ico files. They may be a bit blurry because the matching size, the image size that is needed will not be in the icon files, and Windows will resize one of the images. These icons are also still using the old system. So I have also created a shared library of components that are used throughout the application and commonly used colors. For example, when you look at these icons, they are using a small set of colors. Here is a pink color, a brown color, and white and dark, and they will eventually be configurable, and you will be able to choose these colors and customize them as you see fit. Also, this is a preparation for support for dark mode. It is quite hard to support dark mode in an old Win32 application, but it could be possible. And if we use dark mode, everything will be inverted, the background will be black, the text will be white, the icons will need to be adjusted too, because as you can see right now, maybe let me show you, for example, this file operation. Where are they? Here. So here you can see I have created a different versions of the icons, because it is not that easy to have everything look good on the first try. So you can see I started with something like that folder, then tried this. This was too small, and the icons is zoomed out when it's small. So I eventually tried a different version and ended up with this being the final design. You can see that the yellow color is different in my prototype. This color also may be configurable in the final version, we will see. But one thing that will need to be definitely changed is this outline color, because on black background it will not be useful to have black outlines. Also, I want to have these outlined icons, not just shapes with using single color, because I don't know why, but I know why, because I like them better this way. And one more thing, also this outline scales with the resolution, but not in a linear way. For smaller resolutions, full images, the outline will be thinner, but not in proportion. For example, when I switch to this page, you can see these icons. They also have outlines, but they are slightly thicker. This icon is the same icon as, for example, where we can see it as this icon here. This larger version. And using these vector icons, any resolution will be supported. One more thing that is quite important. Let me, for example, print screen and copy this image to clipboard and open it. So this is now the image of the previous window. So I can show you the icons that are used actually. So this is a zoom in of this icon here. And it is quite important that the edges of the shapes are aligned with pixels. So I'm using a set of guidelines internally that tell the application that these edges should be aligned with pixels. And it is not used for every icon, it must be done manually. But since I am using them, the icons should be aligned on any resolution, because otherwise it will be quite different to have these shapes always aligned on the pixel boundaries when the icon is 16 pixels or 20 pixels and 24 pixels or more wide. So these are automatically snapped on pixel boundaries. For example, it won't be probably visible here. Okay, let me again copy this screen, create it again, and zoom on this icon. This is not a final icon for a raster layer, but you can see that the edges are not as sharp as they were on, for example, this icon or the folder or the floppy icon. These are already aligned. On where were we? On this raster layer icon that is still a work in progress. The grid is not yet properly defined, and you can see that, for example, this brick is not aligned on pixel boundaries, and then it looks blurry when I zoom out, and that will be fixed later. So these, maybe I will be talking about the new icons for clipboard operations. Let me open something nicer. For example, this. So you can see that for cutting, copying, and pasting items, I'm now using this arrow icons instead of scissors and some weird two documents and the classic icons. I think this will be more useful. This icon should represent layers and cutting. So cut layers. So red icon, red arrow from left to top means cut. This intersection or this blue line with an arrow up means we are copying something, and if the arrow is in the opposite direction, that means that we are pasting something. These icons with 4 sub-regions mean select all. This icon with triangle and circle inverts the selection, and the cross, of course, deletes the selected item. And here is yet another overlay icon. This fork means duplicating the selected item. What else do we have? I promised there will be a new function. So here it is. Maybe we will open something more suitable. So this is the new icon for the light rays effect. If you remember it, let me enable this layer. This is the light rays effect, and this is a new icon for it. You can see there are again multiple versions, and this should be the final icon for the light rays effect. And there will be another new effect. It is still not on this layer. Let me put it on this sphere layer. This is a long shadow effect. It is still work in progress, but it works like this. It adds a shadow that in this style, you have probably seen it on the web. It's called obviously long shadow. That's why I named it long shadow. It is here. and you can control the color of the shadow, the intensity, and of course the length and the direction. For the long shadow icons usually look like this. Let me maybe increase the canvas. Let me remove the long shadow for a moment. I will now delete the layers that are not used here. I will group these two layers, and when they are grouped and I add the effect on the group, then you can see that the effect will be added to the whole icon. Let me now add another layer. It will be a vector layer where I will draw a circle. It should be centered once like this. Okay, what's the 384 divided by 2? It's 92. And let's do, for example, 170 in size for this. I will now duplicate this layer. Not like this. It was once more. Okay. Duplicate the layer, move the layer down, and I will now change the color of this circle to transparent, but I will set the default color of this layer to black. I will then do this effect, and I will now set the blending mode to silhouette to delete everything outside the circle. So this is how the long shadow icons usually look like. You have a circle, then an icon over it, and the shadow in given direction. And the advantage here, of course, is that everything is dynamic, and if I, for example, select all of them. When I move some part of the icon, everything is being recomputed as you would expect. So if you like this style of icons, you can now use this as a template for your icons. So what will be done next? I will continue remaking some of the icons. Maybe we can look at a few more. This is a new icon for the animation speed. Let me show you that in action. Animated image, it's right here. Change animation speed. These icons that are controlling frames were also adjusted. What else? This is a new icon for the glow effect. New icon for image. It's not yet finalized. It will be. I don't like it too much. The proportions are a bit weird, but I am using it as an icon for colorize, grayscale, and shift hue. I will recreate this set background icon. This is a new icon for the satin effect. Here are the clipboard icons, as you can see them in action here. New icon for the outlines effect. This will be used somewhere, I'm not yet sure where. Maybe it will be used for solid fill, and this will be used for pattern fill. But in that case I would have to also recreate all the icons for the gradient fills. We will see. And yeah, so what will be done next? I will continue with the icons. I will be fixing, I can show you my list, but it's still very long. I will be designing some icons for these operations. I will probably remove some items for this menu and move them to a sub-menu because this menu is too big. And we are relatively close to the final release, I think. It depends on what will not be included in the final version. So probably these drawing tools will be removed. I want the crop tool to work with vector layers. It is more or less working right now. Maybe there still needs to be something to finalize. I would like the brush tool to be working with vector layers, but that is not as easy as it looks. But yeah, I have to enable the layer. So it looks like it is working, but there are some things that needs to be adjusted. For mainly when you are using picture brush. So I think I have talked for long enough today. If there are questions, please write them now. I will probably be showing you some of the larger resolution icons for a few minutes, and then we will finish the stream. So this, for example, is a new icon for the bevel effect. You can see I have several prototypes here, and here it is in action. When I actually use it, you can see that it is used here. This is a slightly larger version of the icon, and because I'm using the vector icons, I can use this slightly larger version here without problems. Maybe it will be nicer if I also use the outline color here. We will see. Maybe I will do more tests. This is an icon for the offset. This one. Offset object operation. It is also here, but I will probably remove it because pure vector operations are not working very well with layer styles, at least in this version. Oh, also, if you have ideas what to use, what pictures to use for certain effects that are still missing icons or are using some unintuitive icons, surely let me know. Here, for example, are my attempts to create icons for each layer type. These both will be adjusted. This icon for the raster layer, for example, right now looks too it's not dense enough. There are too many white spaces, too many spaces between the objects. Maybe if I make the blocks a little larger, it will look better. For vector layers, we will see what shape I will use, because I'm currently using this partial circle also for vector objects, and I want to keep using this icon for vector objects but not for vector layers. So it looks that there are no questions, and in that case I will say goodbye for today and see you again in 3 weeks.